Kveno, and I'm a community engagement specialist with Disability Hub MN, and I'm joined by Amy Perron, Minnesota System of Technology to Achieve Results Program Director. Amy will explain assistive technology, also known as AT, and how to use Minnesota Assistive Technology Lending Library. The STAR mission is to help all Minnesotans with disabilities gain access to and acquire the AT they need to live, learn, work, and play. Just as with any of our webinars, a reminder that if you have questions at the end, please do not share any personal information. And with that, I want to thank you, Amy, for being here. Can you tell us about assistive technology?
Kristin, I'd be happy to. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank the Hub. We're very honored and excited to have this chance to speak to our fellow Minnesotans. Assistive technology, of course, there's a big, long federal definition, but really the way we look at it is assistive technology is anything that can help anyone do something more independently than they were without this thing. So it could be something as simple as a pencil grip that allows you to grip onto a pencil easier. Could be a pair of glasses that helps you to see, or it could be a really high-tech piece of equipment, which I'll show you some items here in a little bit.
Wonderful. Well, since you are the director, can you tell us what the MinStar program is?
Absolutely. So STAR is actually a federally funded program. We're 100% federally funded. Every state and 6 territories in the US has a program similar to ours. There are core services that each one of these programs offers. Some of the services include device demonstrations, short-term equipment loans, and information and assistance. So we get people from across the state reaching out for information maybe on specific types of technology, or maybe they have a particular disability and they're struggling with a particular task and they just don't know if there's something that could help them out or where to get access to the equipment. Then they can reach out to us and we're happy to help. Our demonstrations are things that we can do either face-to-face in person or remotely in a setting like this. And usually what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you to a piece of technology. So let's say you're someone who maybe has Parkinson's and you have some tremors and you're having a hard time eating. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about different types of feeding tools that are available. It could be something low tech like a weighted spoon, or it could be something a little more high tech like a gyroscoping spoon. I'll show you this in a minute. Or we've got an actual self-feeding device. So during the demo, we're going to show you all different types of equipment. And then hopefully at the end, you'll pick a device that you think could maybe benefit you and check it out from our lending library and borrow it for 45 days, kind of a try before you buy opportunity.
What a wonderful program. Are there other programs that can help someone get AT, or how does someone go about obtaining assistive technology if they're interested?
Absolutely. So we're very excited at STAR to have the opportunity to partner with a number of different lending libraries throughout the state. They're kind of regionally located, and I would say reach out to us and we'll be happy to connect you. Some of the independent living centers have lending libraries. There's a couple universities and just some nonprofits too. If someone is maybe working in Minnesota but resides in Wisconsin or Iowa, we can connect you to your home lending library and get you the opportunity to try out some equipment that way. One important fact, though, I want to make sure and mention is there's no cost for these services. So for the advice or the information, for the demonstration, for the loan, all of that is at no cost to the individual.
Can you explain a little bit more about those lending libraries?
Absolutely. So we try to stock as many different types of devices as possible. So the feds have dictated to us different types of technology. So we have equipment for hearing, for vision, for mobility, for cognition, daily living. Those are all some of the different categories. So we have we try to have equipment in each of those categories. Now, our program here at STAR is very small. There's only 4 of us on staff. And so we're tasked with serving all of Minnesota. And that's part of the reason that we are partnering with these other programs. And we do find that some of the other programs maybe specialize in one type of disability. So a good example would be Moorhead State University has a lending library, and they really specialize in speech. So if there's an individual who has lost their voice or does not have the ability to speak and wants to try out some technology, oftentimes we'll refer them to Moorhead. Moorhead can ship the devices anywhere in the state. They've got certified speech language pathologists on staff. Another partner would be Lighthouse in Duluth. They specialize in vision loss, and they've got lots of different equipment and lots of specialists that can help with vision. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, I just loved hearing about all the collaborations throughout the whole state. Are you able to show us some of the AT tech that you have available, and how that works?
Absolutely. So I brought a few of my my treasures, and I wanted to, just show you that it really can be anything if it's something that's going to help you. So one of my new favorite little gadgets here is this is just a wire device, or just a wire piece of plastic. Now you could use this to, wrap a spoon around your hand if you had a hard time gripping on something. I just find that I fidget with it all the time. So this is just a low cost piece of tech. Here's another example. This is something that we can cut off. It's called Dysum, and it's very sticky. So if someone maybe only has the ability to use one hand, it would be great to cut a piece of this and maybe put it under your keyboard or under your dinner plate. So when you're trying to eat, your plate doesn't shift around. I'm going to move my computer here to kind of show you a few other things. I had mentioned the spoon. So this is a gyroscoping spoon, and it comes in 2 styles. So this particular one is called the Liftware Level. And you can see as I move my hand, that spoon head stays level. Another nice feature with this is I can put my hand in there and I don't have to hold on to the spoon. It'll stay there. So again, maybe for someone who's had a stroke or who has tremors, lots of other possibilities, this is a great tool. Now, for this particular item, we have another version of the spoon. This one is the Level. We have the Steady, which specifically was designed for tremors. So as someone has their tremor, the spoon stays steady and it is able to get the food into their mouth without spilling. So that's a great opportunity to increase independence. Now I want to show you another amazing high-tech piece of technology, and it's performing right now. So we're going to get it to go back. Bear with me a moment here. This is called the Obi, and it's a self-feeding robot. This piece of equipment sells for about $7,000, which is obviously an enormous investment. So with the ability to borrow it through the lab, it's really a great way to see if it's something that would work for you. But so this has a tray with 4 different compartments. You can put whatever food you want in there as the caregiver. So the caregiver would load this up. Then through switch access, which I keep bumping, we've got 2 different switches that it's just a button that you would press. And my spoon got knocked off here because I'm working in a small area. Bear with me here. Okay, so I would press the first button, and then what's going to end up happening, be patient with me because I knocked it off. So we're starting all over again here. So I'm hoping you guys can see this well enough. But so what happens is I push the button and it goes from section to section. And then with the second button, I push that one and the spoon literally scoops down and it will get the food onto the spoon and bring it to my mouth. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to train the device so it matches up exactly with where my mouth is. Now think about someone who is not able to feed themselves independently and they rely on a caregiver. What a wonderful opportunity for them to independently, privately feed themselves. This will give that caregiver a chance to do something else, some other chores, and then this person doesn't have that dependence on someone else to feed them. So for the right person, this is an amazing tool. A couple other things we've got here. So medication reminders are a huge issue that we hear about all the time. And when we talk with someone, we try to find out, what are your specific needs? Is it just you don't remember if you've taken your medication? Yep, that's my problem. So what I might start with is a simple bottle like this. This is called the e-pill reminder. It's not locked. So for someone who we worry about them taking medication too often, we would not give them something like this. But basically you take the lid off and then there's a small beep. I don't expect you to see this, but basically what it does is it tells you the time of day that the cap was removed and the day. So if I take meds every morning at 8 and I don't remember, I go back at 10 and I see, oh, yep, it was removed at 8:05 this morning. I'm good to go. Now, another example of medication reminders would be, maybe we've got somebody who we do have to worry about them taking their meds too frequently. So we can do a locked device. Now, this is one that not only is locked, it also can communicate via text to caregivers. So we as the caregiver would load up the medication into this device, and we would program when the meds should be taken. So if the meds are due at 8 a.m., what's going to happen is this wheel is automatically going to turn, and then there's a small compartment that opens up, and with one hand, the individual with the disability then could just simply tip it down. The pills will fall out into their hand, or we can put a dish there. When the device tips, the caregiver gets an alert that the medication has been distributed. If the device does not tip, they also get an alert that says it has not been taken. So you can call your loved one and just say, hey, I think you forgot your pills, and take them that way. But that one, like I mentioned, does have the capacity to lock. Another example of something that's low tech, again, we're going to think about somebody who maybe has some mobility issues. This is what we call the pour thing. And it's just a simple little caddy where you can put your quart or 2-liter jars in liquids. And with just one finger, you can tip it. So it's not going to require any arm strength. It's going to give someone with, upper body weakness the ability to independently pour their own beverage. That does come in a couple different sizes. You can also get it in a 1-gallon size. A couple other things I have here for you guys just to kind of get an idea of the great variety of items. We've got a real low-tech digital clock that is a reminder. So we can program like 10 plus reminders on here every day. It is audible and it also vibrates. So for someone who maybe doesn't have great hearing, they can feel that vibration and then look down, and it's going to tell them maybe you need a reminder to get your backpack and get on the bus every morning, or maybe you need a reminder to transition to lunch. And this is a tool that sells for under $100. So it's pretty affordable in the world of assistive technology. Another great example I've got here is this is a tool that's available for individuals who are dyslexic or have a hard time reading. This is called a C-Pen reader. It's a small handheld device that has an LED screen, and you simply will just press on the text and run it across the screen, and then the device will read aloud to you what is said on the screen. So for someone who has a difficult time reading, or maybe they're trying to work on enunciation and how they're processing their words, this is a great device. It also has the capability to use an earbud. So if you're in a classroom and you don't want others being distracted, you can have that privacy. Behind me back here, I'm going to see if I can move my screen forward a little bit. I've got a tabletop magnifier. So this is a great device for individuals. Let's see if we can get it tipped up here for you a little bit. This is a great device for someone who has vision loss, and it's increasing and decreasing. The vision loss is increasing, so it's progressive. this is something just through the spin of a button, we can increase the magnification. Right now I've got it at 6 times. It can increase all the way up to 25 times magnification. So great device. A lot of the handheld magnifiers are just one set level. Now with this particular one, you can take pictures. So if it's a document and you want to read at a later time, that's great. Because of the way it's built, you can put your hands underneath. Maybe you're a crafter and you want to do calligraphy or do some needlework. You still have the ability to do that. So that's another great option. For individuals who are on waiver services, the majority of these items that we've been talking about are going to be covered under the waivers. Currently, the OB feeding device is a little bit higher price point than some of the waivers will cover, but there's some work in the legislature. They're hoping to change that. And if that goes through, then this is a device that too could be covered. A lot of times what'll happen is when people reach out to us and they borrow something and then they determine, yes, this is what I need. We can help them figure out where to purchase it. And we'll also do what we can to try to help them figure out how to fund it. So if they don't have the financial means to pay for the equipment, we'll try to find out if they're on waiver services or, what other options are out there. We'll try to connect them to resources.
That is amazing. If someone is interested, if someone's watching this today and says, I'm interested in one of these products, what is the best way for them to go about engaging or start that process?
What I'm going to do right now is I just hit in the chat the website for our lending library. Our lending library, our online library now has a couple features that we're pretty excited about. We've got pictures. So for those of you who are visual and can see images, you can go online then and see those pictures of the items and get a better understanding of what they look like. There's a description. You do have the ability to create your own account and check out items online. A lot of times though, people don't know what they need. They don't know if there's something out there that can help. So give us a call or shoot us an email. All of that information is on the website. And also at the end here, I'll put my email in the chat. So feel free to reach out to me. No question is silly. We're here to help. We get so many amazing stories of individuals who, one story I heard just recently, our AT specialist worked with a social worker from a local hospital. A young family had just had a baby and they were so excited, but the hospital would not release the baby because mom and dad were deaf. And they were so worried, how are they going to know when the baby cries at night? So the social worker reached out to us kind of in a panic and wanted to know, do you guys have anything? Well, we did. We had an alerting system, which when it hears sound, and this particular model had a device specifically, an attachment for babies. So there's the main unit, which we connected to, and then we had this alerting device that went in the baby's room. And when the baby cried, it flashed and strobed. And then there's a small vibrating disc that the parents could put under their pillow. It vibrated and woke them up. They tested it out in the hospital and they were immediately released. The hospital was pleased to know that this would work for them. They actually borrowed ours until they were able to purchase one. So they were so relieved and so confident when they went home that they knew they could care for their baby properly. We get stories like that all the time. And it's oftentimes we've got some solutions, but we talked early on about our partnerships, and we're very big on partnerships. We know that not everybody is good at everything, right? And together we're better. So we collaborate with as many people as we can. And ultimately, if we can't help, we're going to try to connect you to someone who can.
Oh, I love that story. What a great way, what a wonderful way to solve that problem. And if someone's interested in the lending library, do they need a disability determination, or who is the lending library for?
Great question. Actually, any Minnesota resident, that's the only requirement. So if you are a professional, if you are a caregiver, if you are an individual with a disability, any and all can borrow from us. Oftentimes what will happen is maybe a caregiver or an educator, a practitioner will reach out to learn a little bit more about a piece of equipment. They might borrow it from us just to get familiarized. And then once they have a better understanding of how it works and they think maybe that this will benefit, then the person that they're working with will then borrow it. So it works out great. And as I mentioned early on, if someone reaches out to us, say from Iowa or Wisconsin, we'll connect them to their AT Act program in their state.
It's wonderful. Is there anything else you want to add before?
Probably, I'm sure as soon as I hang up, I'll remember something that I wanted to cover. But you know, I just want to emphasize that, you know, there's no, you know, you don't need a doctor's referral. We serve all ages, all abilities. We say we serve individuals with disabilities and aging adults. As we get older, we know that things don't always work as well as they used to. So we've got lots of things available, and there's so many more things that I really haven't had a chance to talk about. I mean, you know, we've got magnified keyboards. We have hearing devices. Maybe you're not quite ready for a hearing aid, but you're struggling hearing things. You're going to go to the doctors and you're just worried you might miss something. We have personal listening devices that you can borrow, you know, just for a short-term accommodation. We do work a lot with employers also. We know that people oftentimes need special accommodations for their employment. And I guess one other thing that I do want to throw out there is every situation is personalized. We work with the individual. So if you reach out and you say, I have cataracts, I'm not going to say, here are the devices you need. I'm going to learn more about, you know, how severe is the vision loss? What are some of the things that you miss doing? What are some of the things you're still do well? I'll probably ask you about what technology you have and you're familiar with. A lot of times people don't even think about your cell phones. This is one of the most powerful AT devices out there. And there's so many things that we can do with the technology that we have. So we always try to have conversations with people to learn about what tools do you have currently, and are you utilizing them to their fullest possibility?
Well, it's great. If anybody has any questions, if you want to put them in the chat and Amy can answer them, we still have a few minutes left. So if there's any questions that you would like answered, and while we wait for that, Amy, is there, when you borrow from the lending library, is there anything, there's a time limit then? And so you have, and then that's just kind of a chance to try that product out to see if it fits your needs, correct?
Exactly. The loans are for up to 45 days. We can either make arrangements with you to pick the equipment up at our office if you're in the Twin Cities. Otherwise, we'll be happy to ship the equipment to you. There is a chance that you could have one expense. So if you borrow the device from us and you're unable to return it in person, you would have to ship it to us. And we do ask that individuals pay the return freight. But otherwise, there's no cost for the equipment. We don't have any library membership fees or anything like that.
Wonderful. Oh, it looks like we do have a question. Someone has asked that they're a caregiver for a stroke survivor, and they're wondering if you have any suggestions for improving the use of cell phone with one hand.
Yeah, I would ask you to give us a call. We're going to want to know some specific information as far as like what type of device they're using. We're going to want to know, are they still mobile? Are they walking around, or are they in a wheelchair? If they're in a wheelchair, you could certainly get a mounting device that would mount to the chair. And then that's going to give you the opportunity to, key in with one hand. If they're not using a stylus, that might be a simple thing to investigate. And then early on, I talked about this DISM. So with the DISM, if you set the phone on there, it's not going anywhere. And to buy a big roll of this is, I don't know, like $10. It's really inexpensive. But those are some of the first things that we talk about. And then if if they're still not to the level that they'd want to be, then we can take a look at some other things. Maybe there's some specific apps that we could download. Do they have good speech pattern? If they do, maybe you want to use some of the speech to text features. Work with Siri or Alexa. It's amazing some of the resources that you can utilize with your smart tools.
Wonderful. Yep. Someone else asked if this on the Disability Hub MN Facebook page. So if you have not gone on there, be sure to go on our Facebook page and like it and follow. We have great information, and we're just excited to partner today with Amy. And so if there's any other questions, certainly put it in the chat in the next minute or so.
While we, Kristin, while we wait for that, I do also want to
Yes.
mention to the group, we are currently collaborating with our sister program in North Dakota. It's North Dakota Assistive, and we're doing monthly webinars on various topics. So in April, it's everything food. So we're going to talk a lot about assistive technology for meal prep, for meal eating and drinking, some of the stuff that we talked about here today, but each month we have a different topic, and we're looking for recommendations. This is going to be going on through the end of next summer. Additionally, we're creating short informational videos on specific devices. So if there's something that you want to learn more about, but don't necessarily want to borrow it, you can watch the videos. The webinars, I see someone asked, they are on our website. So I can share that link. They're on the STAR website versus the Lending Library site. One last thing too, I keep coming up with ideas, which I knew I would. The Lending Library, Minnesota AT for All, is not just STAR equipment. We're slowly adding our partners' devices on there also. So if you go on and you start looking at technology, you're going to see it might say Pacer, or it might say SemSil or Duluth, things like that. And that just means that the equipment is housed at a different location, but it's still available throughout the state.
Wonderful. Oh, there's one more question. If there's assistive technology for dressing oneself.
You bet. There's all kinds of tools out there. You can get hooks to help with zippers, a shoehorn with to get shoes on. Reach out to us, and we can show you some different items that we have, but we can also connect you with some sites that have tons and tons of resources and tools out there.
That is wonderful. I think it looks like our time is up and there are no additional questions.
Hi, Kristin. I just had a
yeah.
quick question. Yeah, someone did ask a question. I thought they were talking about this webinar, but they were asking about the webinars that you are doing in collaboration with the South Dakota agency.
Yep, I will.
Excuse me.
I'm going to put our website in there right now, and you can find them on our website under additional resources. I'll make a note of that on additional resources tab. Again, I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day. I know how busy everyone is. So I appreciate this opportunity. And if you have any questions, if you think of anything afterwards, please reach out. We're happy to help, and we'll do whatever we can to get you connected with the resources that you need.
Thank you, Amy. And give your phone number if you want more information. Call MinStar program at 234-1267 or visit the web mn.gov/admin/star, or you can always call Disability Hub on 866-333-2466 or check out mn.org if you have questions. And providing such important information on MinStar, AT, and the Lending Library. And thank you everyone for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you guys.
Thanks everyone.